Hello, bright and shiny beacons of light. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation, coming to you live from South Dakota, from Spearfish, South Dakota. We are out in our RV rig called Grace. It has been raining. We have set up for rainy conditions, so apologize for a little bit of a delay. I think things came out looking beautiful, all thanks to Jessica, also known as Pookie and the Pook Star, but Jessica is probably the best way to call her. Wow, do we have a lot to share? I want to talk about manifestation. I want to talk about your destiny. I want to talk about trust and love and faith and diving in on the inside and Dr. Wayne-Dyer. And there is so much goodness that we're going to cover in about 60 to 90 minutes here tonight, and all leading to a class that we're teaching Wednesday where I'm going to be channeling Dr. Wayne-Dyer. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. So with that said, wow, we're out on the road. What a special man. Okay, so 20 years ago, I was finishing up grad school, 2 accelerated master's degrees, should have had the world in the palm of my hands, and yet I was occasionally suicidal. I really didn't like myself very much. Truth is, I really did the opposite of like myself. And it was fortunate enough that I caught a PBS, not the special, the advertisement for a special from Dr. Wayne-Dyer, where he was selling what he called the full enchilada, his full suite of programs that he had donated for this PBS fundraiser. And one of the most fascinating things that he shared was that we are all spirit. We all come from spirit. We are all not just subject to the same universal laws of spirit, but we are spirit that made the laws. And something clicked when he said this, that we are not just a part of spirit, but that spirit is us, and that spirit doesn't make mistakes, and that therefore you're not mistake. So therefore, nothing that you have done could be a mistake on a cosmic level. And that changed everything for me, because until that point, I had low blood sugar conditions. I wasn't planning it ahead. I had flipped out and tried to roll my Beamer back in, I guess it was 2001 or so. Thank you, BMW anti-lock brakes. How does it get any better than this? And I was a wreck of not loving myself and not trusting in the universe. And if you get anything at all out of tonight, I hope it's that it restores some faith in the universe, because the universe is working all of the time for everyone. And you can say, yeah, but I have bad karma, but I can't manifest. But. And what I say to that is, the universal laws are working all of the time. We get to help you understand how to work with the laws to make the laws work for you. Guys, particularly in the West, particularly here in the US, we don't read the owner's manuals very much. And that can get us in trouble. That can have your brand new RV Grace fall on your brand new truck Ease, because the owner's manual hasn't been read. Yes, ouch. When we start to understand the owner's manual of the universe, the owner's manual that is buried deep inside of you, everything begins to change. I know for myself, I read Manifest Your Destiny after the PBS special, or after the PBS sales thing. I read Manifest Destiny from Dr. Wayne-Dyer, and he had a really cool line in it. And it was, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And that line is so profound, it's so powerful. What it really means is, if you understand, and Dr. Wayne-Dyer would say, you're a spiritual being having a human existence. I channel, and I've gotten from my guides, you're an energetic being having an energetic experience in human form, meaning you're still pure energy. You didn't suddenly lose your energy. You didn't lose your ability to manipulate energy. You didn't lose your ability to work with energy because you are in human form. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's still inside of you, and you get to play with it. So when you say, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What he really means by this, and what I mean by this is not a pass-fail school. This is not the school of Earth, as Gary Zukav, we had him on the show last week. He calls it the Earth School. This is not a pass-fail. There is no fail. There is nothing you can do that is wrong. Now, certainly, golden rule applies. Let's do everything we can to help everyone else as much as we'd like them to help us. And if you're saying, I don't want anybody to help me, well, there's some wounding that we get to clear inside of you. But with that said, you couldn't do anything wrong. You really couldn't do anything wrong, no matter how much you try. Because you're an energetic being having an energetic experience in human form. You came here to learn. You came here to grow. You came here to expand. One of my favorite expressions in spirituality, and I'm not sure that I even fully grasp the meaning of this, is that the universe breathes you, and the universe breathes through you. I know I had Dr. Eben Alexander on the show multiple times, the author of Proof of Heaven, neurosurgeon, taught at Harvard, said consciousness exists only in the mind, that there's no external consciousness, there's no greater mind, there's no greater energy all around us. And so the universe said, all right, let's show you another opinion. Let's give you another opinion, Doc. And he had a brain infection and was brain dead for a week. And he came back saying, I might have been a little bit wrong on that one. Consciousness is everywhere. Consciousness is everything. So bringing that back to the discussion here of breathing, the universe breathing us, universe breathing through us. When he was on the other side, he said there was still breath. There was no oxygen, but there was breath. To me, the universe breathing you there is a universal rhythm. It's why I love the drums so much. There is a universal rhythm moving through you, pulsating through you in each and every moment. Jessica and I lived in Taos. We lived in Maui. Both of those places, actually Joshua Tree as well, you could hear and feel the warble called the Schumann's resonance, the vibratory frequency of the earth going kind of like a didgeridoo out of Australia. And that was the universe breathing us. What does this mean? It means we get to let go at an even deeper core level of this notion of Wayne-Dyer. And I'm talking about him a lot tonight because I'm going to be channeling him for our class for the next 4 Wednesdays. Do come join us. It's called the Manifestation Mastery Circle. It's the next 4 Wednesdays in a row. It's free to try. It's $28 a month after that. How does it get any better than this? Excuse me, $29 after that. How does it get any better than this? And we're going to be going into each one of these teachings I'm giving you here tonight in so much more detail and so much more how to them as well. There's a new word, how to them. But with that said, if we get the concept that the universe is a part of us, we are a part of the universe. We are, Dr. Wayne, so going back to Dr. Wayne-Dyer, one of the stories that he likes to share is a glass in the ocean. And he would say that you are, if you scoop your glass into the ocean, that glass of water is you. The ocean is the universe. So you are a part of the universe, but the universe is also this vast, infinite greatness all around, inside, outside, and all through you. This is the key tenet I want you to walk away with tonight, is that there is no separation. This is a Western thing. Actually, it goes beyond it. This is a human thing. It goes even beyond that. Carolyn Corey, who we're having on the show tomorrow, She is a UFO expert, or you could say an alien expert. Never had an alien expert on the show. And we're talking about the report coming out of Congress. And we also talk about her experiences with aliens, her experience in doing, I guess she's done thousands of past life regressions with people who've had communication with aliens or come from other places. And what she found is that a long time ago, thousands of years ago, humanity became disconnected from source. She believes as an experiment either of aliens or of ancient humanity, or future humanity coming back to ancient times, in order to create a sense of separation to see what would happen. Well, guess what? It's the end times of this experiment. Thankfully, it's just about run its course. The new generation are coming in fully plugged in. They're having a real hard time with it. But from millennials forward, people are coming in more jacked in, more plugged in, more with a sense of oneness, a sense of connection, a lack of separation. It's actually, arguably, because the mental health challenges for the young generation today is greater than ever. And I believe it's because they're butting heads with a system that says you must compete, you must push ahead and push somebody else behind if you're to succeed in the world. There is total separation. If you don't work hard, you're going to die. Every man and woman is an island. That is the ill of separation. It is like the ego of the planet. And that's what's been, I won't say killing us, but certainly causing complete and total unnecessary suffering. And that's what I want to resolve tonight. If you are to manifest your destiny, the most important thing to know is you are spirit. You say, well, law of attraction doesn't work for me. We're going to get to the trust thing in a minute. Don't worry. But if law of attraction works for one, law of attraction works for all. Because at a cosmic level, as a quantum level, if we go down to the level of physics, there is no separation between me and you. There is no point. There is no demarcation. We can't go to an electron microscope. We can't go to a quantum microscope. We can't go to anything and say, here is where Michael begins and you end. Or where you end and somebody else begins. It doesn't exist. We're all one energy. We're all a part of this fabric. We're all a part of this matrix. We all are breathed by the same laws of the universe. Which means if it works for me, and I'm looking at this amazing 44-foot rig, 65 when you include the truck, and 6 years ago, Jessica and I, my wife Jessica and I are in her childhood bedroom. Jessica, very, very sick, us completely wiped out financially. And we're going, what happened? And we started putting these spiritual laws into place. Of course, this was going to be the inevitable result or something greater. If you do this as well, of course, this will be the inevitable result or something greater. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do if you knew you are energy having an energetic experience? Excuse me, gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Are we good? Maybe. We're going to use a little bit of tissue here. Forgive me, one of the perks of an outdoor recording, perhaps. And being live. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? You would sneeze on camera and not worry about it. You're right on track. You're right on path. It's wild. We've been seeing 222s all around us. Means you're on path. You're on track. We went back to Colorado a few weeks ago to sell our beautiful Mini because we weren't going to be towing her behind an RV. Sold her for $22222. And the couple who bought her went to the bank and paid us the majority in check, but they had to give us $222 in cash. Technically $22225. I was like, do I give you 3 pennies back? So it's $22222. We went on a trail, couldn't find where we were going to go a few days ago. And so we instead drove up the road, saw a road called 222, and ended up at the most glorious waterfall. We went to a coffee shop yesterday, and the barista had a beautiful tattoo around her throat chakra, along with the numbers 222. Specifically stating, and she said it out loud, you are right on path. We are all on path. If you knew you couldn't fail means to understand that where you are at is exactly where you're supposed to be. Now, the difference between pain and suffering, because you might be experiencing a lot of pain right now, is pain is being stuck out in a cold rain. Suffering is then torturing yourself about it. Pain is a part of life. We can't come through a tunnel, we exit through a tunnel. In between, there are probably some more tunnels that we get to experience. They're not easy. But it is the suffering, the attachment to a story that gets us in trouble. What's the story? That you're not spirit, that you're less than, that you're a screw up, that something is wrong with you, that you can't manifest. Of course you can manifest. Well, I can't manifest. You're manifesting life every minute. Well, I was born. No, every single cell in your being is replicating, is creating new life. On a conscious level, you have nothing to do with it, most likely. But from a subconscious level, you have the power to create life. Subconscious level, the nocebo effect, you have a power to take life away from yourself if you desire as well, just by thinking it. But the power you have is immense. It is huge. It is all capable. Where we run into difficulties is believing we're less than, believing we're separate. Going back to this old school experiment, and come join us for Carolyn Corey's show tomorrow night. She's going to be going into tremendous detail. That will be at 8:30 East Coast time p.m., 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to have Carolyn Corey on tomorrow night. It's going to be amazing. She should be there in the chat room so you can ask her your questions. But we have this idea of separateness, which tells us that some people are better than others. Well, I want you to go after this is done. Go pick up a biography. Go to your favorite movie. Go to your favorite movie star and understand, or your favorite human being, Dalai Lama, Gandhi, whomever, Martin Luther King, and understand they are you. You are them. All the power that they have and more is within you. In fact, I don't commonly quote the Bible, but Jesus said, all the power that I have and more is within you. The kingdom of heaven is inside of you. So, what's our real job? It's not simple manifestation. And manifestation at the end of the day is really, really simple once you get out of your own way. The get out of your own way is to learn the trust game. That's where manifestation gets to be played. Because if I told you I want you to manifest $1, you're, okay, yeah, I can do that. Cool. I want you to manifest $10 this week. Oh, okay, I can probably do that too. I want you to manifest 100, maybe 1,000. Oh, that could be tough. 10,000, that's not happening. I want you to manifest $1 million this week. Stop. What happened? And I have my threshold too, working through it just as you are. A little bit different level perhaps, but not level as in I'm any better. Certainly not. We're one. But where does your trust level break down? That's where you get to play the game. You get to figure out. So if there's one thing to take away tonight, it's that you are spirit, you are God, you are the divine. If there is a second piece to take away from this, it is to start to understand your trust boundaries. How much trust do you have that this works? How much trust do you have in spirit? As the expression goes, whether you think you can or think you can't, you, just like Ruru is singing right now, you are right. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. Whether you think you can manifest or think you can't manifest, you are right. So what we get to do is start playing in the creation process with the very edge of what you think is possible. This is an exercise, and I'll bring Ruru out toward the end if he's still awake. It sounds like he might need nap time right now. For those who aren't familiar, we were gifted with the most magnificent rooster on the planet. He is one cool boy. He's also had an interesting day with the thunderstorm. He's a little bit tired, a little bit cranky, and I think he may have just fallen apart, in which case Jessica will put him to bed. Certainly no roosters were anything other than loved in the making of this show. Now, Ruru, though, let's go there with trust. Ruru is the ultimate manifester because he ran across the road in Colorado after sundown. Thank God he didn't get hit. And he hitched a ride home and a lifetime ride with us. He knew if I run across the road on some level, I'm convinced someone will. That's where we get to play the game. Jessica just gave him some, it looks like coconut, and he is so happy. Kids, roosters, kitty cats, usually dogs, they're not worried about whether they're going to be taken care of. Okay, kids in war, different story. Kids in abuse, different story. But they will come to them. The laws that apply for them apply for you and me as well. We ask and receive if we believe that asking matters. And so I want to challenge you to make the ask. Start with the small things. Play with what you know is possible. Yeah, but if I know it's possible, that's not manifesting a miracle. Are you kidding me? Manifestation is a miraculous muscle memory mechanism. Manifestation is a miraculous muscle memory mechanism. What this means is the more that you practice manifestation, the better you will get at it. Nothing, almost nothing. Michael Jordan. So, okay, we're a few years past Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan, if I understand right, was benched from his high school, I believe a sophomore, basketball team for not being good enough. So what did he do? He shot basically 1 million free throws after the summer and came back and tried out again. And I'm sure there's part of that story I'm butchering, but I'm getting the basics correct, which is he wasn't allowed to play. It didn't come easy for him. He had to work his tail off. And then he became one of the winningest players ever. The same goes for you in manifestation. The same ability that I have to manifest is inside of you. There's no doubt. Your cells replicate just as well as mine do. You can blink your eyes just as well as I do. You breathe through the universe just as well as I do. So why can't you manifest just as well as I do? Because you haven't practiced. First, you don't believe. You don't believe that you are the universe. Well, if we can get that one going, then you don't have trust. Well, how do I know this stuff is going to work? Well, there's an expression. I'll see it when I believe it. I'll believe it when I'll see it. I will believe it when I see it. My mom used to use that one. I love her. I think she's gotten better at that. I believe it when I see it. What that does is it completely shuts off the flow. It says, I don't trust in the universe. And the universe goes, all right, well, I'll be here when you come back to me. I guess Jesus said that too. I'll be here when you come back to me. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll see it when I believe it. That's where the magic happens. You see it in your mind's eye, you feel it, you experience it, you know it. So this week we're at the most magical, I'll call it magical campground. Why magical? Because it's easy, it's convenient, and there is the most awesome. How does it get any better than this? Internet. And there was no opening for us to stay this week. None at all. Wasn't happening, not possible. And each day, thank you, KOA, and thank you, Christy, each day I went into the office last week and I said, has my miracle arrived yet today? In other words, has a miraculous cancellation come in? No, I'm sorry, Mr. Sandler, it hasn't. Next day, has a miraculous miracle arrived today? No, Michael Sandler, Mr. Sandler, I'm sorry, it hasn't. Has my miracle arrived today? Actually, come back tomorrow and we might be able to help you. Has my miracle arrived today? Yes, we've found a way for you to stay. I had thought about making backup plans. I had kind of a loose idea of what I might do, but I was absolutely, completely, and totally, firmly convinced down to the very cell of my beingness, whatever that even means. There's a cell of my beingness. We'd be able to stay here. There was no doubt. And when there is no doubt, you will walk on water. So we get to see it, and then we will flip that. We get to believe it, and then we get to see it, which actually means, I just used the word flip it. We get to flip everything inside out. What does that mean? Well, we've all heard as within, so without. What does this mean? It means that we get to meddle and play on the inside in order to create on the outside. We get to meddle and play on the other side of the veil, hypnagogic state, meditation, dream state, what I call the space capsule, all stuff that I teach in my Wednesday evening classes. And I'm sure there are people here from our Manifestation Mastery Circle and can tell you if they're enjoying it and how much they're loving it. All of that is true. But with that said, if we talk about things being inside out, we're talking about surrender, but in a different way than you've ever before. So I can remember years ago, in fact, being in an RV tour, not my own RV, a rental RV that really was struggling. Beautiful, it was a Mercedes RV, but it had issues. And I'm in California by Palo Alto. RV's been broken into, glass all inside of the vehicle. And I had just creamed a car in the parking lot at Target, going to get a new cell phone after my cell phone and everything else had been stolen. And I'd already banged into a tree, pulling a U-turn out of a Wells Fargo. It was not my glory day. Or maybe actually it was. The universe is at work. Those days that seem your worst are actually the best learning experiences. So I'm in the Target parking lot. Forgive me, about to sneeze again. Don't even have a cold. Might still sneeze. I'm in the Target parking lot. I'm laying down in broken glass, which was the windows that were broken into for the RV. Give me here. There we go. I surrender. So I lay down in the broken glass, ow, on my back. I just bought a cell phone. I had just actually gone inside to the courtesy counter and said, can you page for somebody who owns a black Jetta and let them know I creamed their car? If anybody in the store has a black Jetta, will you please come to the front? Oh, God. Do as to others as you would have others do unto you. Don't drive off in the parking lot after you cream a black Jetta. I'm laying down, cell phone in hand, talking to Jessica. She's not on book tour with me. I was on tour all by myself. I surrender, I surrender, I say. First off, it was a false surrender, because the next morning I thought I had surrendered, but I got up and surrendering to something outside. It's probably what you've been taught to do as well, either to a bearded white guy, this benevolent, although somewhat twisted God up above, who can be quite vengeful if we don't do exactly what he says and follow his rules, and he's always checking on us. Yikes. Or we're surrendering to an energy outside of ourselves. We can call it love. We can call it the Akashic field. We can call it whatever we want. But we're surrendering to something outside of ourselves. And so we often say to surrender means to let go of what I want. Words for a very specific reason, because your destiny is your desire. It's that pull on your heart. But when you go, I surrender to something outside of myself, what you're saying is, I can't have what I want. I say hogwash. Yeah, that's right, hogwash. Maybe you can't have what you want. Or maybe what you get to surrender is to the divine will inside of you. That's why I say we've got this inside out. Surrender to the divine will inside of you. That you surrender to yourself. All right, higher power, higher spirit, soul spirit inside of me. I give up trying to be like Sisyphus and push this stone uphill. I would love it if you can bring me a partner. I would love it if you can bring me peace. I would love it if you can bring me, well, I said partner. Hi, Pooks. I said it and she appears. What's that? My video is buffering. Can people hear me all right? Can people see me all right? Video buffering? Oh, so you're going to try to bring it even closer. I like it. So we're going to try to bring that, if we can get that all the way up toward here. How does it get any better than this? So we've got pixelated, good now. Hear you, yes. No, you're pixelated. Big thumbs up. So we're getting some are pixelated, some are not. And we're going to learn from this experience. So we can't get any closer than that at the moment. Okay, I'm going to keep talking. To surrender to yourself means to let go of any external force controlling what you desire and give it to the higher part of yourself. Because spirit, basically, when you see human form, what you're seeing is a part of you inside of the whole. And so we give it to the totality of ourselves. We give it to ourselves on the other side of the veil. And let our higher selves do the work. This is not a giving up. The inside out version of surrendering has nothing to do with giving up. It has everything to do with giving in, to opening your heart, to dropping your shields, to leaning into what is possible. Pookstar, did you need to check anything here?
I'm just going to grab this chair.
So she's grabbing a chair to prop up a booster to make the signal even better. Still buffering here, but I can hear now. It's off and on. Yes, image, sound, buffering, echo, and buffering. My apologies. We will get even better at this as this trip goes along. Do you need a hand? Okay, excellent. So the last thing I have before we go into questions, I want you practicing surrendering to yourself. What does that mean? All right. You go in Monday to the campground and it doesn't have what you're looking for. Surrender the outcome, not to something greater than yourself, not to something outside of yourself. Say, I've got this. Universe is going to take care of me.